attention. Good morning. Sorry. I know we late again. There we go. Say good morning.
We always late.
No, we were just sitting there talking, waiting for 9 to be here. Can you see better now?
Yeah, I'm sure they can see us too. It's bright.
No, you're dark over here. You can see my messy kitchen. Good morning. How are y'all? Um, Live chat recommended guard. Welcome to chat. Remember to guard your privacy in your account by guidelines. Learn more. Well, booger that. I ain't got no privacy. If you're on social media, you don't have no privacy. If you've got a cell phone, you don't have no privacy. If you've got an Apple device or one of those Google Home things or whatever, you ain't got no privacy, so you ain't got to worry about that. What? It's true.
Yeah, all you have to do is bring a device
Into your home.
and you're
There you go. Good morning, Linda.
yeah.
How are you? Um,
The world knows where you are.
So, anyways, welcome. Sorry in advance. You joined our live coffee chat that
You
we've been
did.
doing for a little over 5 years now. And Lavender, good morning, honey. How are you? Um, Christina and Linda and whoever else wants to join, they're there. I just don't see them. Anyways, so if you joined for the very first time, we apologize in advance. We started this channel about ish. We had to switch URLs, but we started it a little over 5 years ago when we moved from the city and left everything behind to live off grid in the middle of, well, in the middle of fog this morning, dense fog. But we're here off grid in the mountains of East Tennessee by the Smoky Mountain National Forest. So, welcome.
Yes, we left our sanity.
Honey, you have to have something to leave something.
Anyway, she's really apologizing for me because
No,
I
no,
said
no.
something.
Linda says it's foggy there too. Well, Linda, it's so funny. Is mom noticed it? Mom has been here 1 year now with us, and she goes, "Y'all, just like South Carolina, we have very similar weather and climates, and so far away, and such a difference in elevation. We're like 1,600 feet higher than y'all or more." And it's very, very similar, except we don't have the nice breeze. And believe it or not, our air quality is horrible, horrible compared to the beach,
It is.
which you would think with all of these trees and the mountains and closer to God, we'd have good air. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
The only difference is we don't smell the paper mill anymore.
But nor do we have the ocean breeze to blow out this pollution. So,
Yeah.
anyways, we've had, and if I look really puffy, I am, which I'm puffy, I'm squishy anyhow by my design. But I've been suffering with food allergies all week long. Hence our topic for today. What?
She's
Because
puffy.
my kids used to call me squishy. You're squishy. They liked it though because they said I was soft to hug, which is fine by me. More of me to love. You ain't got
I
nothing to
can't I
say.
can't comment on things like that. I just
You can.
like
But anyhow, since we last spoke, we talked last Saturday. We had Sunday. All day Saturday was our Thanksgiving prep. Our
woo, yeah.
Thanksgiving was Sunday. And then we
Man,
had Monday. You had your ENT appointment.
had an
And we've
ENT.
just been busy, busy, busy every day. Praise God, we've had a decent week though, weather-wise. We didn't
It's
freeze too
been
bad.
it's been decent. Been a little sunny, uh,
I was
breezy.
fluffy. Yeah, literally, I'm very fluffy. We got snow coming this week.
Got snow coming. Maybe.
Last week we said we were going to have a talk about fires. And this week I totally forgot because my brain is messed up from the food allergies that I've been experiencing. I shouldn't say food allergies, chemical allergies. And completely went boop. I'll put it on my I've got a notepad everywhere I go, y'all. And like here's my list. Here's my other list. If I don't have these notepads with my list, I completely forget what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, speaking of fires, I'm thankful for the rain because we had a
Oh, yeah,
bunch of
yeah.
different fires around
We'll talk
Ken.
about that next Saturday
Yeah.
because it's part of the Preparing for Peace, Prepping for Peace series that we're kind of unofficially doing right now. Um, and it all goes together. It's like why we prep, why we're homesteaders, why we do what we're doing, why we live off grid, and it's the things that you don't plan for but should. And we're not always talking about a nuclear war or an EMP or CME or any of that kind of stuff, or even a pandemic. And I will always use these quotes when talking about that. Um, but it could be natural disaster fires, kind of like what we've experienced here in the last couple of weeks. Good morning for the Cumberland Plateau in Central Tennessee. Hey, it was foggy earlier, but a nice rain shower, and now it's just cloudy and wet. Well, hey neighbor, how are you? And yeah, we can't even see our property line on the ridge of the mountain over there
It's thick.
right now. It's pretty thick. And we're gonna get some cold this week. Yes. Didn't you say snow? Like not even chance of snow, just snow?
Yeah, when it says snow, I guess it just means snow.
Snow. Not a flurry, not, just a little dusting here or there. Which, y'all, we were going to talk about from scratch living, and we might still go there, but this isn't planned or rehearsed, and he never knows what's going to come out of my mouth. We can talk about prepping for things like that because we've discussed it yesterday a little bit and said, hey, we got snow coming. There's preps that we need to do. And some of life craziness and natural disasters, if you will, for lack of a better word, you can prepare for, like hurricanes that you know in advance that are going to be hitting the coast, which we dealt with for your entire life and half of my life. But and like a snowstorm. Um, we talked about the preps that we need to take before it hits.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's
Hey, Steve. Good morning, brother. Steve, I've been meaning to talk to you, and I've got a Christmas card sitting on my table with you and Mary Lou's name on it that I need to fill out. A lot sitting right beside your seeds, literally right there on my coffee table that you sent me that I'm so thankful for. So I've been thinking about you a lot. Steve is, for those of you that know, he is our fellow homesteader in Michigan, and he's just an amazing person. If you find him on Gab or here in chat or even in our private Mighty Networks group, you need to friend him. He's got so much knowledge to share. Um,
You'll find Steve on Gab.
in our old past homesteading group, yeah, he shares a lot of wealth of information. But anyhow, so yeah, we're prepping for the winter hitting this week because chances are we won't be able to leave our home until either the snow melts or something because of where we live.
Yeah, it gets a little tricky going down the hill with
Not just going down the hill, but leaving the property
well, I
itself. I
mean, we
mean, our
can't even get
road,
down our road because it's so steep, and
it
they ain't
gets
no
blocked.
when you start sliding. I mean, you hopefully you'll run into the bank instead of off the deep side.
Yeah, but there's no, when we have snow on our, and we're talking about our personal driveway, we call it the road because it's a half a mile long, but um, there's no shoulder and there's little trees and some big ones that can stop you from going off the side of the mountain, but it's very narrow and it's very steep. And um, when it's covered with snow, you can't really see where the end is or where the little ditches that they dug out for drainage. So it's fun.
Yeah.
It's the road I was scared to even drive up for 2 weeks after we moved to our land because it was too steep for me. My Flatlander girl side
We
was
just
scared to go
we,
to her own
we wasn't ready
build
yet.
site. Yeah, it
Yeah.
took a while. We're like walked it, and all I had to do was walk that joker a couple times. I'm like, I'll drive now.
Put it in forward drive and hang on.
Yeah, no lie. Um, but anyhow, So this week, and here's the problem with us as humans. One of the many thousands of problems that's with us with humans. We don't want to be proactive until it's too late-ish.
Yeah.
And I'll give a fine example. And then we just want to treat the end result. We don't want to treat the cause. For instance, uh, a lot of people that have a heart attack and or high blood pressure or whatever go to the doctor and they're out of shape. Most of us are obese now. Back in the day, I was thinking about this, and if I offend you, I'm sorry to you at the wrong channel if you get offended easy. But back in the day when we all went to school, there was always that fat kid in class, a fat kid in class. Not that wasn't the majority. Now you see somebody who's a skinny person, you're like, oh wow, they need to put some meat on their bones. Now everybody is theoretically considered obese almost. I mean, not you. You're one of them skinny ones, but and you got to look at what's changed. But along with that has been the increase of medicine, the increase. And when you go to your doctors, unless you have an amazing one, they do not discuss with you how to be proactive. Matter of fact, before we moved here, I went to the doctor several years before we moved here, actually. And I was being diagnosed with fibromyalgia, diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and he's like gave me this bag of pills. And then I said, "Well, whoa, stop. What can I do to be proactive?" I was asking after the fact. And he goes, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I don't want to take that stuff." He goes, "Well, no one's ever asked me that before." And I was dumbfounded. I'm like, "Wait, what?" Of course, I should have been asking like what back when I was skinny and healthy, like what can I do to make sure this never happens? And he goes, no, just take the pills and we'll see you in a year or see you in 3 months, I think it was. And I went home and I was mad. I was like, because then they scare you. Well, if you don't, you just had a baby, you won't see it graduate, you won't live. Chances are you'll have a heart attack before you're fit 45 and blah 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 blah. So this week, when I was having my allergic reactions to the food I was eating for Thanksgiving, the chemicals I was eating for Thanksgiving, the first thing that you want to do when you have a hive is you want it to stop itching. And so you get the Benadryl ointment and you put it on, or you take a pill to stop your body from reacting. But very few of us want to dig a little deeper and find out, why is it reacting? What is causing the hive? What am I doing that's wrong? What?
Oh, I'm right there with you.
No, you went to the ENT.
Yeah.
Say why you went to the ENT.
Well, I went to the ENT because I've had an issue. I don't know if it's allergies or what, but anyway, they've I guess did some tests on me and they gave me some pills. And
But they said it's allergy related or acid reflux
well,
is what they feel. But here's my point, because I know where you're going with this, and I'm not trying to interrupt you. My point is, what did he say when I said, what proactive measures can we take? Do you remember?
no, I was so scared. I didn't know. I didn't get any of it.
He said, no, just take the pills. You'll be fine. And I'm like, how long? He goes, years.
I think I couldn't get past the when he said, "I think we need a chest X-ray." I'm like,
No, okay, yeah, and see, and I can't stand how, I shouldn't say can't stand it. To me, fear is a horrible thing, and they put it in us, and the powers that be, because you can control people with fear. And it's easy to do. Just look at the last 3.5, 4 years. You can control people with fear, and it is a powerful tool. And it is a tool, right? There's definitely always proper cause for concern when it comes to health issues. but there's also fear porn. And I even told Timmy, I said, I had fear porn this morning and I went on Amazon and made a purchase. And I'll tell you about that in a second. But with Timmy, the doctor was saying they didn't do a chest x-ray when you have a cough. That's the first thing they should do, always. And they didn't. And we had been seeing his PCP, his primary care physician, about this coughing issue for over a year. That's why he ordered the chest x-ray, not because he thought anything was wrong. Matter of fact, he wasn't going to order a chest x-ray and was getting ready to wrap it up. And he goes, "Oh, he hadn't had one? That's the first thing they should do." So then he ordered one. But what he said to Timmy is he poo-pooed wanting to be proactive. Just take the pills. They'll work. Well, they're telling your body not to react to something that it is naturally designed to react to. And it suppresses his symptoms, but it doesn't take away the cause. He says, or we could do the allergy testing and test for plethora of things and see what you're allergic to, and then you'd have to get shots every week. I said, like, I said immunotherapy. He goes, yeah, you know what you're talking about,
Mhm.
and then poo-pooed it. I said, just take the pills, and there you go. And that's our medicine. Good food, exercise, and herbal medicine rules. Yep, there we go. So here's the thing that blisters my bum about me personally is I know better. And when you know better, you're supposed to do better. And I felt like I knew better. And once you start learning the truth about what's in your food and what's in your environment and how it's poisoning you, it does a couple of things. It makes you mad that you makes you mad that you've been deceived. It stimulates interest for you to want to know more. And then it gives you drive to do better. So I did all those things and I did better and I was better. And then I got busy and I got lazy. And now I'm back to being mad, but no longer at being deceived. I'm mad at myself because I know better and I'm not doing better. So that's where I'm at in my stage of life right now. We're not always poops and giggles over here. Sometimes we're sometimes we're the want. Not often, but sometimes. So with his issue, I firmly believe Timmy's gotten worse since we've lived here with his allergies. And that's the first thing the doctor said when he saw him. He goes, I see this all the time. East Tennessee's horrible. This area is horrible. The air quality is horrible. Mold is high. Pollens are high. We have more plant species, insect species, and bird species, I think, than anywhere else in the United States here in the Smoky Mountains. Um, or this region. And therefore, allergies, especially since we moved at such a later part in life to a very new environment, our body is being attacked by all these different pollens that we're not used to. Shoot, I'm allergic to the wood that we made our house out of. Hang on, go ahead.
Yeah, that was interesting to find out that the house that we built that she was allergic to it. Um,
There we go.
I mean, what do you do?
They said to move. That's what she said. She said to move. There we go. My allergist said, I said, what do I do? She goes, well, you can take shots every week and I'll teach you how to give them to yourself, or you can move. I'm like, I'm not doing either, just so you know. But I have to think that breaks down my immune system if my body's being attacked by something that I'm allergic to. So anyhow, long story short, is the constant issues that we've had with allergies and chemical reactions makes me not want to take a pill, but makes me want to dig further of getting to what the source of the issue is, but getting back to, without being too cliche, back to basics, back to from scratch living like we were doing on such a great path that we were on, that I firmly believed helped bring us here. God brought us here first and foremost, period. But I do feel that he's the one that planted the seed that gave me the desire and gave Timmy desire to seek from scratch living. And all of that goes to generating our own electricity, building things without power tools, growing our own food, taking our children and teaching them the values and things that we feel that are important by homeschooling them instead of in a system that teaches what they feel is important for them to learn. All of it, making, growing our own herbs, all of it. And yes, it can be exhaustive if you look at it as work. If you look at it as living and how we were designed, created to live, and keep your faith first, it becomes different. It doesn't seem like work. It seems like that's how you should just be living. I mean, if you go into an Amish community, they don't look at their daily chores or whatever as, oh my gosh, I'm working all day. It's it's living, That's just their
Well,
living.
yeah, I mean they in the end they get to enjoy the fruits of their labor. And
Well,
I
we
think
all do. Yeah.
once you get to that point, I mean it's I don't think it's work. And if we could just
Change our mindset too.
well, if I think if we could just start out a little smaller and just build our, build up, it probably wouldn't be as hard.
Well, and yeah, and this would hang on, they were just saying, says we're products of what we eat. Most of the products in the grocery store shelves are overprocessed, not considered food like products. Well, isn't that the truth, honey? And I mean, we were just talking about wheat this morning, and we were talking about ancient grains. Steve shared the purple corn that he harvested and was grinding down and milling. And I was like, okay, that's what you strive to be. And for instance, I was reading this morning. I sorry, I got some on my glasses. A body which is well nourished is also usually a healthy body. When we eat a balanced diet, Ezekiel 4:9, the food we eat can be seen as preventative health care. In addition, God gives us the use of plants and herbs for curative care, both physical, um, Kings 27, Psalms 51:7, and emotional, Psalm 45:8 and Genesis 43:1. And God mentions talking about giving us every herb and every seed to meet all of our needs in the first three chapters of the Bible or the first three paragraphs. He says it three times. Anytime God says something three times, it's kind of you need to pay attention. And it's like, how did we get so far from scratch living to where we are today to eating food like products that are poisoning us? Or it's just I know what's happened. It's like the frog in the pot that boils. It's gradual, and people get overwhelmed when they start learning just a little bit of the truth, and they to the point they're like, "I'm not doing it. Too much work. Don't want to know. Make me too mad. We're all going to die of something." Love hearing that one. We're all going to die of something. Well, yeah, eventually. Our this fleshly body, our soul won't, but yeah, we will. But what about the quality of life that we have while we're here? Is our stubbornness and our addiction to these things causing a sick care system where our quality of life prevents us from doing the things we were designed to do? For instance, um, a close person to us is highly addicted to sugar, over the counter and prescribed meds, and fast food, and their quality of life is horrible, and they can't move, they have no energy, they can't do anything, and so they are very stationary. And I'm like, they're probably wondering, is this all there is to life? And I'm like, no. Of course, if you're in that position, I'm not condemning it because I've been there. I am restricted in my movement because of my own actions. And I'm not saying, I'm not sitting there pointing the finger and going like that. There's always purpose. If you're living and breathing, you've got a God given purpose. Whether it's just praying for somebody, you've got a God given purpose. But you also have to look at, are your decisions causing your quality of life to be worse than it should be? and causing you, restricting you from doing your purpose? And if so, how do you get back to from scratch living to improve your quality of life?
Yeah, good point. I think a lot of times it's easy for us to just take the convenient road.
Well, and not take any responsibility
Yeah,
either.
it's
Like, nobody likes to have responsibility for their own health and
I
actions.
know I mean, before we got into the healthy living, and we're able to get the good, fruits and vegetables,
And
and
nutrients and exercise, and yeah,
you
when we were
know,
doing it right.
we would drive down Ocean Highway, and you've got there's just nothing but fast food restaurants.
Hmm.
And when you're in a hurry and you got the kids in the car,
Or
and
you're
it's like,
lazy, you don't
Mama,
feel
we're
like
hungry,
cooking.
or I'm hungry, and it's
I mean,
easy.
it's
It's
very
Yeah,
easy. It's convenient, but at what cost?
yeah,
But it's basically, when you're talking about where do I start, just start one place. Start with one thing. We talked before about reading the ingredients, and last weekend we were talking about the ingredients in your soup. Go grab anything around your house. Here we go. My butter dish. Start with one thing. Get out your butter. Look at the package. See what the ingredients are. Wait, what is that? I don't know what that is. There's a mark on my table. The butter dish. I'm like, there's a mark on my brand new table. It just looks like it's dry right there. That's all. Start with one thing and go from there and see what the ingredients are. If there are ingredients that aren't whole food, like things that you can't pronounce, figure out, research how to make it yourself, how to do it yourself, the from how to get back to the basics, and then go on to the next thing, and then the next thing, and then share your knowledge with other people that want to learn, because they're out there. And that's how you start. And don't try don't do what we did. I say that jokingly, and say, that's it. They're right. I feel the drive. I'm going to sell everything and move to the country. And once I move to the country, I'm going to learn how to farm and live off the land. That's suggested. Baby steps. And then when you feel that you're not overwhelmed by making your own butter every week, move on to the next thing. And then the next thing. And then the next thing. And then before you know it, you're living from scratch and a cleaner life, and you feel better and you're healthier. And that's my plan. That's my goal. That's my hope. I'll probably never achieve that full, but that's my hope.
yeah. I mean, we've done bits and pieces, I think, in our lives, and it's. I mean, I wish there was a way that we could be
It would be this.
one of those people that could say, "Yeah, this is definitely the way to do it," and we've done it. But
We have done it, but we're not doing it right now. So it's
no,
hard for us to be a witness for that. Once we can get back to it, then we can. But we can talk about our experience because we've been on both sides of that token. And that's where I think it's kind of important to have some life experience. I've talked to people that, for instance, if you've always been skinny, you've always been healthy, and you've always been in shape, and you've always taken care of your body, it's really hard to grasp those of us that haven't, or even know where we're coming from, or understand the true addiction of food and sugar and everything else. You can't speak from experience because you have none. There are so many skills we've lost through the years. It's so hard to catch up in midlife. We do what we can and teach our children joy along the way. Isn't it the truth? Tamara, girl, I am so glad you joined us. You are such an inspiration, sister. Um, Tamara from
yeah,
Texas, and who we've been in each other's lives forever, or a decade now. And I'm going to brag on you for a minute, has lost like over 40 pounds. I want to say, I haven't kept track camera exactly. And they have changed their eating style. And you are definitely inspiration. I am so proud of you. She's in our healthy living group, and I've seen her change. And it takes a while to get there, doesn't it, honey? You have to be, I'm fed up. I've had enough, and I this is it. This is the line. No one can make you do it. No one can guilt you into do it. You can't. It has to be well, with us, you have to pray about it because God can make you give you remove those desires.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
had that with sugar recently.
Definitely. And that mental state that, you develop and get yourself into that is that's the power right there. Because you will find alternatives to get away from the terrible habits that we've developed over the years. And you know
And that's all
it's
they are, y'all. I mean, if you can tell yourself, I can do anything for 30 days
yeah,
and give yourself grace, just say, well, in 30 days, I'll go back. If I don't like it, I'll go back. But you can, and we can do anything for 30 days, but start with one. Just like, well, I can do anything for one day. Just one day, I'll cook all my own food from scratch. Or just one day, I'll fast. Or just one day, I won't eat anything that comes from a box. Or just I'll just start with growing lettuce this year and we'll go from there. And start your baby steps or just I'll change. I'll start making just one cleaning product in my house. Just one. Start out with, your kitchen cleaner and or I'll just buy organic soy candles instead of those plugins. Those are big neurotoxins, by the way. Those plugins with the synthetic petrochemicals and fragrances that are messing with you and you don't even realize. So we all need to start just one place. None of us are ever going to speak from a pedestal and look down on you. None of us are ever going to sit there and point the finger. Well, we're doing it the best, and how you're doing it or condemn you. So if you feel that guilt, that's on you. That maybe the Holy Spirit's tugging on your heart or something. That don't have nothing to do with us. We ain't never coming from a place of higher than or holier than. We're just coming from a place of this has been convicted on us, and we're sharing that information with y'all. Thank you for the reminder about the plugins. I need to let my daughter know she loves those. Yes, girl. Yes, absolutely. And there's natural alternatives that are just as good. And believe it or not, when you get away from those synthetic fragrances, I used to be the queen of that. I would boil, my friend Linda can testify. I'd boil pine saw and pour bleach in little corners to make it smell like I was cleaning because I love the smell of a fresh clean house. And I didn't realize how much those were poisoning us. Now, if I'm in an elevator or someplace confined with somebody that has the fabric softener sheets in their clothes, my eyes start watering, I start itching, I start sneezing. It's crazy.
yeah,
And this is coming from a person that used to bowl pine saw, and I had a very specific brand because I like that smell that would keep it going on the stove so my house smelled clean. Once you know better, learn better. Once you know better, then you need to do better, and that's what I did. So, and I'm not going to say that we haven't fallen back some, but thankfully our allergies keep us in check a lot. Like Lyndon can't even walk down the cleaning aisle at grocery stores without breaking out in hives.
mm,
So that keeps us in check. Like we physically can't put that junk back in our house because it would hurt my children. So that helps. Otherwise, they'd probably have a plug-in.
yeah. I guess having allergies is a good thing
Yes.
in a way to just remind us that there's things out there that will harm you.
So I'm back. I had to start my generator, recharge my battery bank. Not enough sun lately to keep the solar system charged. Ain't that the truth, honey? We're facing that too. And we do that this time of year. And for those that don't know about real quick, and then because we got to get going, but solar systems, you got to have sun. And when you don't have sun, you have to have something. You either go without power, which is always an option altogether, or you have to have something that charges your battery bank. And so therefore you do need a generator. And that was one of the best pieces of advice that anybody ever gave me because I got very few little advice when we decided to move off grid. and we were researching all the different power sources. You have to have a backup source for your source of power,
Yes. Yes.
whether it be wind, solar, water. If you want power, you have to have a backup source. And I remember we're like, oh, we're gonna have solar. We don't need nothing. And they're like, you have to have a generator.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? But I don't want the sound. And they're like, you have to have a generator. And so we did, and we do. And that's just how it is. And one of the things that we wanted to add was wind,
Wind. Yeah.
because most of the time, except for today, most of the time when we don't have enough sun to generate the electricity for our house, we have a storm and wind. So that could be our backup source. But on a day like today, where it is dead still and not a drop of sun is getting through this fog, even having a backup source of wind wouldn't do us any good. And clearly, we're using electricity right now. So, anyhow, I've been off grid for 9 years to learn having a backup generator within the first few weeks. It didn't take long to learn that lesson, doesn't it? But anyhow, we've been on here for a good bit this morning, and we got to take care of our livestock and stoke up our wood cook stove. So
Yeah.
we're gonna get
We'll
going.
be running the generator. We're probably bringing in about 50 watts right now with the
Very,
thick
very
fog.
little.
So
And if you have any comments about from scratch living or anything that we talked about, share them with others, because that's how we create our community here. We are not a know all be all. We are like we got so much. That's why I think our soul lasts forever, because we got so much to learn. We'll never know it all. Um, and eternity is a good amount of time to start learning, and so start somewhere. You know, start somewhere. Start with one product from scratch, and let's get back to basics.
yeah, and share it with somebody else.
That's it. That's what this is all
That's
about.
right.
All right, y'all have a blessed day.
Thanks.
We'll see you next Saturday. Wait,
Thanks.
go ahead.
Thanks for watching.
And I've got it on my list. Next week we'll talk about uh preparing for peace when it talks about natural disasters and fires and things like that. So there we go. I've got it on the list.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.